Okay, we're going to be doing a presentation on business trip to Belize. Belize is a multicultural country, and it will be a very unique experience because it is very laid back. It is quite unordinary. So let's take our trip to Belize. We are going to be going by American Airlines. I looked at Travelocity and found the most economic rate as in the business class, and it only has one layover instead of multiple layovers, and they're not going to be extended layovers, they're going to be practical layovers. So we're going to leave Indianapolis at 6:05 in the morning, and we'll arrive in Miami at 8:45 the same morning, and there'll be a small layover for an hour and a half, for an hour and 7 minutes, and then we will leave Miami approximately 9:55, and we'll be landing in Belize City at 11:17. There will be a shuttle from the airport to take us to our hotel, so we will not have to worry about finding a taxi to take us to our hotel. It is part of the service from the hotel we have booked with. We're going to be staying at the Radisson Fort George Hotel Marina in Belize City. This was chosen. It's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive. It is the most. It has one of the greater values. It does have a fitness center and a few other accommodations that we wouldn't be needing, and we will be staying here for another reason is because of it is Belize City. It doesn't have an extreme high crime rate, but it does have a crime rate, and we're going to be in the main city where most of the crime is, so this is a more secure location, and this is where we're going to be. We got a villa room. It's going to have a balcony pool view. Most of your rooms will have a view of either the pool or the ocean, or it'll have a nice landscape to look at. We have a non-refundable room, so once it's booked, it's ours. And it's going to be at $127 a night plus tax, and the taxes are about $24. That'll be tax and fees. We're going to have some a TV with free Wi-Fi, which will be good for your as a business on your business trip, because you will need Wi-Fi, and you'll have other amenities in your room. They'll even have an iPod docking station if you need it. So this is going to be a pretty complete room for you. They have a 24-hour fitness center. We're going to have a conference room. There's 2 outdoor pools. You'll want to make use of those. And there's going to be 2 restaurants. So if you don't feel like going out to eat, you can dine in. Tipping in Belize is a little different than what we would expect in the United States. Cash is king, and one of the reasons that is because by paying cash, you're going to make sure whoever you want to get the money will get the money. If you pay it by a credit card or other means, they're not necessarily going to get the money you want. The money's not going to go where you want it to go. So we're going to tip between 10 to 15% for normal service, and then if exceptional service, you want to do about 20, in some cases maybe 25%. It depends on what that is. When we start talking about the taxi, we'll go into that. Who are we going to tip? Well, we're going to tip anybody who's going to give you a service, particularly in a hotel or in a restaurant. And this will include your tour guide. You need to tip your tour guide. Who do we not normally tip? We do not normally tip cab drivers or craft vendors. Now the cab drivers, there is going to be an exception to that rule, and we'll get to that when we go to the taxi area. Cabbies are working for themselves, and they make a pretty decent living. If you want to keep a reliable taxi around, you can work something out with him. That may be where the 25% comes in, and you can have a chauffeur. Basically, you'll have a car at your beck and call. And we'll go into more detail about the taxi, why that may be the best option for your taxi. Gifts for your host or hostess. Again, Belize is very laid back. It's not very formal. And your host and hostess appreciate gifts. Flowers are nice to be sent if you're going to someone's home before or after you've been. But their favorite gifts are basically simple things like nice wines, a dessert, or even finger foods. And they do have packages. You can go to places in Belize and they will have stuff prepared for those who need to send them for business purposes, and they have it all worked out so they know exactly what to send for you. The average yearly temperature is about 84 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius, and between November and February generally is a little rainfall. It does fall in the rainy season, but it's less in those within that period of time. And they enjoy cool temperatures almost every evening because the breeze is constantly coming over, and so you always have a constant breeze. You're never going to be extremely hot as long as you're close to the water. And but you're going to want to take a shawl or a wrap or a small jacket or something like that so you stay comfortable in the evenings, because in Belize a lot of their business affairs will be conducted in a casual way, so you want to make sure you're prepared for those things. Dress etiquette, it's again laid back. Even the Prime Minister does not wear a suit on very many occasions. He wears long pants, usually khakis, a nice knit shirt with a collar. If you're meeting in a formal type setting, like in a fancy office or whatever, you will want to dress as you would normally dress for a business setting at home. So, you know, nice business suits, nothing real fancy. The women dresses, pants are allowed, but you don't want to look like the men. You want to look like a female, but you want to look well dressed. And later, there'll be times where you won't want to dress formally in a business attire. You want to be very casual, semi-casual, or just casual. Always a good bet for the men will be khaki pants, knit shirts with collars, comfortable casual shoes, no tennis shoes, no flip-flops. These are not practical attire to be wearing on a business. Women, you can also wear long pants. These are appropriate as well, and you can also wear skirts. A nice blouse or a dress is a good choice. Sandals are acceptable. We're not again, no flip-flops. We're talking about nice dress sandals, and a sarong, I guess is how you pronounce it, can be handy to have. It's a large scarf, a large piece of cloth that they can wrap around your waist. You can wrap around your shoulders. You can wear it as a scarf. So it's going to come quite handy. They do suggest at times that maybe if you're not quite familiar what you're going to be comfortable in, you can the time to go shopping is in Belize, and you kind of want to join the crowd. You want to look like everybody else. You don't want to stick out, okay? Again, you want to make sure you take some kind of a wrap, a jacket, a shawl, or some kind of, just something to cover yourself a little bit, because it will be cooler at nights. Okay, food in Belize. Again, it's a multicultural country, so we're going to have various types of food. They've talked about the fried biscuits, Johnny cakes. Typically, it's going to be more of a Mexican type style food that we would be used to. Tacos and meat pies and tamales. They're very popular. Beans and rice, rice and beans. You wouldn't think they'd be different, but they are different. Beans and rice will be, the rice will be at the bottom and the beans will be poured on top, and it will be more of a entree. The rice and beans will be, the gravy from the beans will be poured over the rice, and it's more of maybe a side dish. There is a difference. Ask them what the difference is if you are confused. One thing about Belize, they are more than willing to help you. They're very forgiving, and they just want you to enjoy their culture more than anything else. Lunch is the biggest and most important meal of the day. This is so important they even close schools and businesses for an hour. It is at least an hour long for lunch. And it starts about 12 o'clock, and it's just very important. There is one precaution you may want to take. The hotter the better is how they see it in Belize. So if you want to try some hot pepper sauce, you might want to be very careful. Even though you might like it hot, this may be a little bit more than what you've bargained for. Okay, gestures. When shaking hands in Belize, it's going to be normally a relaxed type handshake. I'm not talking the floppy fish handshake. I'm talking more like not a real hard, firm grip, like we'd be used to in a business setting. They, again, are just so laid back, they just don't appreciate a firm grip. They want you to be relaxed, and they don't want to feel, they don't want any tension. So they are very, they're very kind of, I don't know, touchy-feely maybe. I don't know how some people see it. I really don't see it that way. And do not be surprised if you get a hug or if they may kiss you on the cheek. This is normal, and the best thing to do is go with the flow. Don't push them away. Don't tense up. Try to relax. It is a surprise, and it is going to be unusual. But once you get used to this, I think you're going to enjoy yourself in Belize. And there are various languages. English is one of the main languages. 80% of the population speak English. 60% will speak Spanish. And then there will be a mixture of the others that are in here. Creole is also in with the 80%. So you're going to have a mixture of languages. So you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. So nothing special there. Their main exports, now it has changed with the times. Used to forest productions, mahogany especially was a very big export for them. That has decreased. A lot of this forest production and forest products have decreased, and their economy is getting better, and we'll go into detail with that in the imports. But one of their main staples is seafood and lobster. Of course, bananas and sugar. Sugar is quite popular. It's one of their high cash products that is sent overseas. And citrus. Well, we're going to call this in the import section because it's tourism and retirement. For some reason, Belize has been an unfound jewel, and she has been discovered. That could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. It is a very poor country, but its economy is improving due to these two things. There's been many movie stars and things that have discovered Belize, and they go there because of the way things are so relaxed. It is becoming quite popular with Americans for retirement. It is they say once you go there, you don't want to come home, and you just want to keep on going. There are many companies who are aware that this tourism and retirement is going to be an asset to their companies, so they're coming into Belize and bringing commerce to Belize, trying to catch into these two trades. The gender gap. As friendly as Belize is, there is an issue they have with women. We're not quite seen as equals just yet. They're working on it. You may come into times where you may feel a little left out, or maybe you don't feel respected. This is the culture. It is improving, but you have to keep in your mind that you are a guest in their country, and that is their traditions, and that is their culture. So you need to stay respectful and try to stay professional. Don't let it get to you. Just relax, smile, and it'll be fine. So just take it easy. Another thing you need to watch out for, especially women traveling alone, friendships between genders are uncommon and seen as improper. For a woman to be alone with a man that she's not married to, they're kind of a stickler on that. So you kind of want to make sure you're not seen separate from others. Mr. Crab there. Belize is not too strict on punctuality. You don't want to be extremely late, but they being right on time. So if you are one of those, I have to be punctual. I don't expect anybody to wait on me. I don't expect to wait on anybody else. Okay, that's not going to fly in Belize. And you might as well just accept it and relax and have a good time, because this is how they are. They are very friendly. and they are very forgiving. If you do not know something, you can ask them. Things change from time to time, so you need to, especially like the taxis and things, you kind of have to ask for rates and stuff, but they are more than welcome to help you out. And they said this is one of the most friendliest places you could ever go to. Driving. Yes, you can drive. You have to have a valid driver's license, and you have to have a passport if you're an American citizen. All American citizens just need a passport. They do not need a visa or any other kind of documentation like some others. And this passport has to be more than 6 months old. And correct. All the information has to be correct. If you want to drive in Belize, that is fine. But the problem with that is their roads are not paved, most of them, except what's in the city. The main roads are in the city. They do not have interstates, and these roads are very rough. And if you decide to rent a vehicle, which is very expensive, they recommend you rent a 4x4 vehicle or some kind of an all-terrain type vehicle. And you're going to have to be careful because some of these vehicles, tires and things are so expensive in Belize that they do not use the best. So you don't want to get stranded. For one thing, it's not well marked. There's quite a few places that are kind of off the beaten path. There's not going to be a whole lot of people that's coming by. And so you kind of, sometimes it's best if you just take other modes of transportation that they'll be offering you. Okay, taxis. The taxi service is unique in Belize. They're not a regular taxi. You're going to have regular cars, and they're not even fancy cars, and they're going to have a green plate on them. If you see a green plate, that's a taxi. If somebody comes by you and they honk at you, it may be because you're not in the street, but because he has a vacancy and he's wanting to know if you want to ride with them. And by vacancy is they try to put as many people in a car there'd be nothing uncommon for you to have 3 in the back seat and you not know each other. They share a ride. It's first come, first served, but if your destination happens to come before someone else that was ahead of you, they may let you go first. But if the person in the car before you is a sightseer, you're along for the ride. So I guess it's a good thing Belize isn't worried about punctuality for their business trips. Another taxi is going to be a golf cart. And yes, that is unique, but apparently sometimes that is the best route to go, especially in some of the areas. And then you're going to have a water taxi, because there are going to be places where you are going to have a water taxi. You're not going to get there by car. And so you'll have to have a water taxi. They do have bus service, but they're old school buses, and they are cramped, but they're reasonably rated. It's a good way to get exposed to the multicultures and to different people, and it is a unique experience. If you happen to get stranded by the car you rent, you may end up having to take a taxi or taking the bus. The bus does run every 30 minutes in various places. There's no bus stop, it just stops. And so that can kind of get monotonous, but it's fine. The taxis will close at 6. But if you want to keep your taxi driver, give him some extra money, and they will give you, if you get a good rapport with your taxi driver, he'll give you his number, and you can call him, and he'll come and get you later at night. The currency, as you can tell, it's a Belize dollar, a Belize currency. They do take American currencies. It depends on where you're at to what the price is. Some of your places, some of your businesses, your tourist businesses and your accommodations are going to be priced in US dollars. Places like shops and restaurants and stores and things like that are going to be priced in Belize dollars. The Belize dollar is $2 to the United States $1, so that shouldn't be too bad. There are ATMs along the way. They do take traveler's checks, but you need your passport number and some other identification. And they do take credit cards, but you kind of need to search around because they, like the hotel we booked at, will only take a MasterCard. So you kind of need to check up on that to where you're going to be before you decide to use plastic. They advise you to carry loose change and small amounts of change, they can't hardly break a US 20. So anything more than a US 20 is kind of difficult for them to break. So you kind of want to keep that in mind and keep some loose change in your pocket. They're normally calm. They don't get in a hurry. They don't expect anybody else to get in a hurry. So you might as well just not get too excited about all that. They like small talk. They like to get to know you. They like you to get to know them. And they like to share everything with you. So, and then they'll get down to business. Gas prices. Unleaded gas is available there and widely available at $6.50 a gallon US dollars. So again, you may want to take the taxi, the bus, or other modes of transportation, because if you rent a vehicle, that's going to really knock a chunk of change out of your pockets again. So you might want to reconsider renting that car. Christmas in Belize. Christmas in Belize is like Christmas in the United States in a lot of ways. They celebrate Christmas as Christians, a lot of them do. And then they have various other ways of celebrating Christmas. It is a big deal. They have a festival, and it is a big deal to them. Multi-religion culture. 58% of this culture is Roman Catholic. 7% is Algerians. 6% is Pentecostal. And then you have Methodists, Seventh-day Adventists, Mennonites, which surprised me, and then 6% is non-believers. And then you're going to have a mixture of all your other religions. There's probably about 10 different religions in Belize. Belize is going to have a very unique experience for you, because you're going to see things there you can't see anywhere else. This is going to be the coral reef, the blue hole. They're going to have exotic animals, and these are not zoos. They are there. You're going to go scuba diving. You're going to see the Mayan ruins. There is a lot to experience in Belize. When you go for business, I'm sure you'll want to schedule a time to go just for your personal reasons, so you can enjoy the entire experience. And that is it. Thank you.